Are you tired, Leafs Nation? Are you utterly, soul-crushingly exhausted by the relentless cycle of hope and heartbreak that seems to define your very existence as a fan? For 9 consecutive seasons, the Toronto Maple Leafs have valiantly battled their way into the Stanley Cup playoffs, a testament to the talent within their ranks. Yet, each spring, the dream evaporates, often in agonizing fashion, leaving behind a familiar ache of unfulfilled promise. A prolonged, unwavering commitment to a star-studded core, once heralded as the blueprint for success, has instead become a painful reminder of what could have been. Now, with homegrown star Mitch Marner, a key pillar of that very core, having departed, the Leafs find themselves at a crossroads, desperately searching for replacement. But with a cupboard so bare it echoes with the ghosts of past gambles, the narrative is tragically familiar. Over the years, the Maple Leafs have consistently traded away precious future assets, first-round draft picks, promising prospects, in a relentless pursuit of immediate glory. These were often veterans, sometimes even rental players, brought in to provide that elusive final piece. But the ultimate triumph remained just out of reach, and these players, having extracted their pound of flesh in draft capital, often moved on to other teams, leaving Toronto with nothing but a diminished future. General Manager Brad Treliving, a man who correctly identified the urgent need for change upon his arrival, now faces a daunting reality. The previous transactions have left him with a scarcity of valuable currency, severely limiting his options. While dreams of a triumphant return for a beloved figure like Nazem Kadri might tantalize the fan base, the cold, hard truth is that Treliving has precious few trade chips at his disposal to make such a move a reality. Consider the recent past. The acquisition of former Boston Bruins defenseman Brandon Carlo at last season's trade deadline, a move intended to bolster the blue line, came at a steep price: Fraser Minton and the Leafs' first-round pick in 2026. This single transaction, coupled with the cumulative effect of deals from prior years, has left the Maple Leafs without a first-round pick until 2028. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a gaping void in their long-term planning, a critical missing piece in the annual influx of elite talent that fuels sustainable success in the NHL. In this landscape of scarcity, one name shines brightest: Easton Cowan. He is, without question, the crown jewel of the Maple Leafs' depleted prospect pool, the lone blue-chip talent remaining in the organization. Cowan has accomplished all there is to achieve at the junior level, dominating his peers with a blend of skill, tenacity, and hockey IQ. He has even made promising appearances with the Maple Leafs during the past 2 preseasons, offering tantalizing glimpses of his potential. However, the leap from junior hockey to the unforgiving grind of the NHL is a chasm that many promising prospects fail to bridge. Cowan has yet to prove himself against the bigger, stronger, faster players of the professional ranks. To expect him to immediately step into a significant offensive contributor role, especially in a top-6 capacity, is not just optimistic, it's a dangerous leap of faith, bordering on wishful thinking. Furthermore, while the Maple Leafs undoubtedly hold Cowan in the highest regard, it's a critical distinction that other NHL general managers may not share that sentiment. The valuation of prospects can vary wildly across the league, and a straight-up swap of Cowan for a proven top-6 talent would likely be met with polite laughter by most opposing GMs. They would quite rightly demand a draft pick sweetener to accompany Cowan, a commodity that Toronto, as we've established, simply does not possess. Beyond the glaring absence of a first-round pick until 2028, the Leafs also lack a second- or fourth-round pick in 2026 and a third-round pick in 2027. This isn't just a bare cupboard, it's an empty pantry, leaving Treliving with virtually no leverage in the high-stakes world of NHL trades. This dire situation forces Treliving to confront a perilous question. Would he be willing to trade Cowan, a potential top-6 or top-9 winger for the next decade, for a 30-something player on the downside of their career? We're talking about a limited, perhaps 2-year window of opportunity over the next 3 years before Auston Matthews' contract expires. Potential trade candidates often floated in the rumor mill, such as Kadri, Erik Karlsson, Braden Shen, Brian Rust, and Rickard Rakell, all fall squarely into this category. The risk is simply too great. The Maple Leafs, throughout their storied but often frustrating history, have made this exact mistake far too often, sacrificing their future for a fleeting chance at present success, only to watch their former players prosper elsewhere while Toronto remains in a state of perpetual longing. Given the acute lack of draft capital and blue-chip prospects, Treliving's gaze must inevitably turn to his current roster. The team's newfound depth in goal and on defense has become a surprising strength, offering a potential avenue for acquiring assets. However, this path is fraught with its own set of limitations. Forwards like Kaye Jarnkrok, David Kampf, or Max Domi, while valuable pieces, are unlikely to fetch much in return, serving primarily as salary cap dumps rather than trade bait. The real dilemma arises when considering the defensive core. Trading away a defenseman from their top four, Chris Tanev, Jake McCabe, Morgan Reilly, who also holds a no-movement clause, and Brandon Carlo, for a forward, would only serve to weaken a group that has finally found its footing. It would be a self-defeating move, robbing Peter to pay Paul, and ultimately leaving the team more vulnerable than before. The goaltending situation offers a glimmer of hope, but also significant peril. Anthony Stolarz has significantly upped his value after a tremendous first season in Toronto, proving to be a reliable presence between the pipes. Joseph Woll, meanwhile, was again solid during the 2024-2025 season and, crucially, managed to stay healthy, a significant step forward for the talented netminder. On the surface, trading one of them might seem like a viable option to acquire a forward. However, the roadblock is the depth chart behind them. Veteran Matt Murray has moved on, and prospects Dennis Hildeby and Artur Akhtaimov, while promising, need more time to prove themselves at the NHL level. Trading away Stolarz or Woll, given their injury histories and the unproven commodities behind them, would immediately put the Leafs' goaltending in dire straits, a perilous gamble for a team desperate to contend. In this landscape of limited options and strategic cul-de-sacs, Treliving's only sensible course of action appears to be a difficult, but necessary one: patience. He must bide his time, roll the dice on the coming season with players like Matthias Maxelli and incumbent Nick Robertson stepping into top six roles, and resist the urge for a short-sighted, desperate move. A costly gamble for the 2025-2026 season, made out of desperation, could be devastating for the future of the franchise. Instead, the general manager needs to leverage the time until next year's NHL trade deadline for internal assessments on the development of prospects like Hildeby and Cowan. Crucially, he must meticulously save salary cap space, positioning the Maple Leafs for the strong, unrestricted free agent class of 2026. The absence of sensible trade options and the stark reality of an empty pantry have left Brad Treliving with no other choice but to embrace a long-term vision, even if it means enduring more short-term frustrations. The Toronto Maple Leafs are not just facing a challenge. They are confronting the consequences of years of strategic missteps. The path forward is not paved with blockbuster trades or immediate fixes, but with patience, internal development, and a shrewd eye on future free agency. It's a bitter pill for a fan base, starved for success, but perhaps, just perhaps, it's the only way to break the cycle. The question now is whether Leafs Nation has the fortitude to endure this necessary period of austerity, or if the endless pursuit of glory will once again lead to a desperate and ultimately futile gamble. What do you think, Fabian? Can the Maple Leafs truly afford to be patient, or does the pressure to win now outweigh the long-term risks? Are you willing to wait for the 2026 free agency class, or do you believe Treliving must find a way to make a move this season? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this deep dive insightful, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more exclusive analysis of the NHL's most captivating stories.